Honorable President, Manya Rashtrapati Ji, the Defense Minister, Mr. Antony, the Minister of External Affairs, Shri Salman Khurshid, the Minister of Culture, the Chairman, President of the IGNCA, the Member Secretary of the IGNCA, Your Excellencies, and the many distinguished members of this audience, including those who have been associated with the IGNCA for long years. I don't know where to begin. And I am at a loss for words. On this day, when we commemorate 25 years of this institution, but when we remember this extraordinary daughter of India, who was firmly rooted in the ground and the soil of this country and soared to the heights of a global dialogue. On that day, and after her assassination, a few months later, I was given a note. And I am here not to repeat or duplicate the excellent presentation made by the President of the IGNCA Trust, who has outlined its accomplishments, and he has outlined his own vision for the future of the center. But I am here almost at the end of a journey to recount this history, because I was requested by our young, dynamic member secretary, "Ma'am, please make your presentation anecdotal." So here it is. Forgive me for the informality of it. As I said, sometime in '85, early morning at 5 a.m., I remember the sound of the motorbike. A notification, sealed envelope was delivered to me. The envelope said, "There will be an Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts, and Kapila Vatsayan has been appointed director of the center at the level of the Secretary to the Government of India." I was bewildered beyond words. I ran to the then Prime Minister, Shri Rajiv Gandhi, and I said, which I could call him by that name with very long associations on personal grounds. I said, "Rajiv ji, ye sab kya hai?" He said, What is your problem?" I said, "What is the center and why I?" His reply was as disarming as meaningful. He said, "Kapila ji, आपने पप्पू का भी किया था ना, मम्मी का भी आप ही करेंगी." For those who don't understand Hindi, you converted the Teen Murti into what is today called the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library, my grandfather's residence. You will do the center or make the center in Srimati Indira Gandhi's name. There was nothing further. There was neither a ministry nor any other anchor, just these 3 lines. So there were many exchanges. many wonderful, meaningful exchanges on small notes, chits, some in Hindi, some I could run to him and said, "Now what is it? Where is this going to be located?" He said, "I don't know. You find the tree under which it is going to be located." I have no idea. And more, when I protested or said, "Rajiv ji, I have been associated with the establishment of all these institutions, the academies, the National Museum, the National Gallery of Modern Art. I am not going to repeat anything that they are doing." And what else? I said, there will be no barriers. I'm going to redefine the arts. And all this post-enlightenment definitions of art is not going to be my beat. And he laughed. I cannot go into the details, but they're all here, vibrating in my head ever since I was told of this function. And then in his inimitable style, he turned around. He said, "आप बताइए, आप और कौन सी शेर की सवारी नहीं किया करेंगी? Which other lions you will not ride?" So I said, "Well, that will come to later." And then followed this experience of making a conceptual plan, and I could still talk to him as I said, "You know, Mr. Prime Minister, this is not going to be an ordinary inauguration. You're going to plant 5 trees, and I'm going to bring 5 rocks from the 5 great rivers of India, the Sindhu, the Ganga, the Kaveri, the Narmada, to represent the perennial tradition of this country in its continuous flow of continuity and change, and I will make you plant trees that grow to the heavens, throw roots and regenerate. Most important of them all, the Ashwatha, the Ficus bengalis." And he said, "Crazy, but I think it makes sense." And that is how the inauguration, which Sukanya ji mentioned, was done on the 19th of November 1985, when he floated that lamp on a lotus leaf with the rocks which were so dear to Mrs. Gandhi. That was a conceptual plan put in a symbolic framework, not an event design. I do not have to say anything about the work of the institution because the President has already outlined. But I do want to go back to some of the reminiscences, because very early, even before there was an office or there was a registration, the first major international congress took place on as abstract a subject as space, and I can never forget the energy that was contained, where scholars, scientists, thinkers, philosophers, artists, ranging from a D.S. Kuthari to a Tripti Mitra, to a Sayyid Hussain Nasr, to later, at the time of the Time Conference, a Dalai Lama and a Narlikar, who could sit on the same table and talk to the Todas on cosmology. This relationship of science and the arts, this relationship of the arts and the environment, this relationship of the ground realities of this country in its vast, what we call earnestly, tribal India, to the most sophisticated textual traditions which speak of this dialogue, was what was initiated. Yes, finishing part. I'll never speak again in my life. And networked So my first debt is to Sri Rajiv Gandhi. After his brutal assassination, Srimati Sonia Gandhi became the president, and in her inimitable clarity and silence gave direction to the center. I've been asked to shorten. I will shorten, but allow me to just mention one or two things as debts. The first debt to the nation, to the then Prime Minister, to Srimati Sonia Gandhi, the debt to these donors of the great gifts, because not a penny was spent from the consolidated funds of India for, and I have a personal history of Suniti Kumar Chatterjee, Hazari Prasad Dwivedi, A.K. Kumaraswamy's son, and these are like babushka dolls with memories. Then there were my international friends, libraries, the Bibliothèque Nationale, the Stas Bibliothèque, the Oriental Library in St. Petersburg, the Al-Baruni Library in Uzbekistan, from where precious material was received. And then there were friends in the international organizations, the Ford Foundation, the Japan Foundation, the UNDP, UNESCO, all of them. And it was the IGNCA which started the first multimedia center to make that connection between science and technology, and a computerized system. So the world was open. There was a networking, visibility was across the globe. But institutions have histories, and I shall not continue. But I thought I would place this before you along this memory lane, and forgive me for taking 3 minutes more than my time. But it was for me to encapsulate this, and I hope and pray that the perennial values for which this country stands will be articulated in its diversity, and as Sri Nehru said, and as Mrs. Gandhi always said, where we will be home at home and home in the world. Thank you, Mr. President.